Hey everybody, Randy Adkins here, and it's time for another edition of my Sailormoon recap/reviews. This week we are doing episodes 9 through 12. So episode 9 is called Usagi's Disaster, Beware of the Clock of Confusion. At the beginning of the episode, since a second guardian has appeared, Queen Beryl is warning Jadeite about it, saying that he needs to hurry to collect energy for their ruler. Jadeite reveals that he already has a plan in place to collect the anxious energy that's caused by people feeling like they're always running late and are pressed for time. Then we meet up with Ami and Usagi. Ami has never been shopping before, so Usagi takes her to the shopping center for the first time. They're, doing their thing, going to different stores. Then they come across a clock shop. Ami says she doesn't really need anything from there because she has received a watch as a gift from her mother. But Usagi convinces her to go into the clock shop anyway. While they're in there, Usagi sees a black cat clock that reminds her of Luna and wants to buy it, but doesn't have enough money. So they go home, and Usagi's mother says that she has gone shopping with Umino's mother, and they ended up going to the clock shop, and she bought Usagi the black cat clock. Luna doesn't think it looks anything like her, of course, but while Usagi is sleeping, Luna remarks again that she thinks that the clock looks pretty sinister, and she actually sees like a beam of light come out of the clock face and hit Usagi. So the next day, when Ami comes by to pick up Usagi to make sure she's not late for work, Usagi's mother says that she's already left, that she left before 7 and Shingo left before 6. We see at school that there are a lot of people just rushing around, trying to make sure they're not late for anything. As Ami is walking to school, she notices that the stores are opening really early. As she's remarking on this, Luna comes up and finds her, along with the black cat clock, and asks her to help her take a look at it. So in order to do this, Luna gives Ami the mini supercomputer. So they analyze it, and when she opens the clock, a little bolt of energy shoots out and off into the sky. There's nothing else inside the clock. So then they know for sure that there's something up with the clock shop. And Luna realizes that probably everyone who got a clock there has been affected by this. So they try to find Usagi, but they're not able to. And just as they're despairing over that, a bus crashes right next to where they're at because the driver ran into like a lamppost, and Usagi hops off. So problem solved. So they explain the situation to Usagi, and Luna has to stop her from rushing into the clock shop. But she gets impatient anyway and transforms and gets Ami to as well. She uses Moon Tiara action to break a hole into the door of the clock shop and goes in. As Luna's trying to follow, the door repairs itself, so Luna doesn't make it in. When they're inside, they find the Yoma, and the Yoma kind of leads them into sort of a warped timescape. And while all of this is going on, Tuxedo Kamen comes to try to lend his aid, questionable though it may be, and finds that there's nobody at the clock shop anymore. So in the timescape, they're trying to locate the Yoma. Ami uses her computer and visor to help with that. So they do finally catch up with the Yoma, but by then Sailormoon has lost too much energy and collapses, and the Yoma freezes Sailor Mercury in time, so she's not able to move to help. But just as this is happening, Tuxedo Kamen finds the giant clock that's in the clock shop and breaks the face of it with his rose, which releases the energy that was collected from Sailormoon, so she gets her energy back, and Sailor Mercury is released, and uses Shabon spray to cloud the area so that the Yoma cannot see them, and Sailormoon does her thing, Moon Tiara action, and the Yoma is destroyed. Episode 10 is called The Cursed Bus. Enter Mars, the Guardian of Fire. At the beginning of the episode, Queen Beryl is getting a little bit nervous about the fact that now it looks like there's a pretty good chance that the Sailor Guardians might find the Silver Crystal or Ginzuisho before they do. And this is also the first time that they've referred to their organization as the Dark Kingdom. So now we have a name for it. She also mentions to Jadeite that she's getting a little bit annoyed that he's failed all of these times, and tells him to, of course, go collect human energy. Usagi comes across Ami, who is waiting for a bus to her Juku or cram school. And as they're talking, Naru comes along with one of their other classmates and talks about some rumors that she has heard about buses disappearing, specifically the 6 o'clock bus in a certain area. And Usagi mentions that that's really near the Hikawa Jinja, or the Hikawa Shrine, and that she's heard about the shrine maiden or Miko that works there, who, you know, as rumor has it, has really strong spiritual powers. So then our scene shifts to the Hikawa Jinja, and we see Jadeite working in the background. His plan in this case is once again to harvest love-based energy. He's selling charms that are supposed to help girls get the guy that they like. So as Jadeite steals the energy, the shrine maiden that was mentioned senses the evil energy and pulls out an ofuda, which is just like a seal. In Inuyasha, they called them sutras, I think. It's basically just the piece of paper with the kanji written on it that they use, and uses it and accidentally hits Usagi in the head, which kind of knocks her out a little bit. She apologizes, and then, you know, that's when they actually get to know her. Her name is Rei, and they talk a little bit about the shrine and all of that, and how the police have been there several times to question her because the bus that disappeared goes right past the front of the shrine. So Usagi and Ami decide that they are going to check out the 6 o'clock bus. When they get there are a lot of people waiting for the bus. The bus gets there, and Usagi freaks out, starts crying because she's too scared to get on the bus. So the bus leaves without them. Everyone else has gotten on it, of course. As the bus is pulling away, it lifts off the ground and flies up and disappears into a portal. The next day, Usagi goes back to the shrine to talk to Rei just to see if she knows anything and to try to get to know her a little bit better, because she legitimately wants to be her friend. It's Usagi, after all. She wants to be friends with everybody. Rei gets a little defensive and basically tells her just to leave. So Usagi's waiting for the bus again. Ami is supposed to show up there as well, so that the two of them can actually get on the bus this time. But the bus gets there and Ami's not there yet. So Usagi decides she's going to use the disguise pen, turns herself into a stewardess, of all things, and gets on the bus. The bus, of course, does the same thing as the previous day. As it pulls away, takes off, and disappears through a portal. Then we see Rei, who's doing her thing, consulting the flames, using her divination, trying to figure out what the source of the evil is that's happening, and sees Jadeite in the flames. So she goes to confront him, and he basically sends her through a portal to the same place that the buses have been going. So on the other side of the portal, Usagi gets dumped out of the bus, just as the Yoma catches Rei as she falls through the portal. She tries to get her to let go of Rei, but she doesn't. But then Phobos and Deimos, Rei's crows, attack the Yoma, and she lets go of Rei. Then Usagi uses Moon Tiara action in a different way than we've seen before, and basically it encompasses the Yoma and traps her for a while. But while the Yoma was holding on to Rei, the glyph for Mars appeared on her forehead, and so Luna's suspicions were fulfilled, and she is in fact one of the Sailor Guardians. So Luna tells her to use the Henshin pen and shout Mars power makeup, which she does, transforms into Sailor Mars, and then without any prompting, uses Fire Soul to destroy the Yoma. Then, wondering how they're gonna get back, because when she destroyed the Yoma, the portal started to close. Ami, who got to the bus stop as the bus was disappearing, was basically concentrating on her Henshin pen, and it sort of creates a beacon that they're able to follow to get back. So they don't know who's going to drive the buses, though, because there are still people on all of the buses. But then Tuxedo Kamen, of course, shows up to lend his aid, and in this case, he's the one who drives the buses back. So now we have another Sailor Senshi, Sailor Mars, so now we have 3. Episode 11 is called Usagi vs. Rei, Nightmare in Dreamland. At the beginning of the episode, Luna is trying to give a speech to them about their overall mission, looking for the princess and all of that. While this is happening, Usagi and Rei are fighting over the newest edition of the Sailor V manga, and Ami is reading an encyclopedia. Luna gets mad and yells at them, saying that they really need to concentrate on looking for the princess. Rei points out that they don't really know anything about the princess, which kind of throws Luna off guard because then she realizes that they in fact don't know anything about the princess, who they're looking for, or anything like that. So Ami suggests that they focus on the other thing that they've been doing, which is protecting the people from the Yoma that have been showing up to collect energy. She brings up a newspaper article that she saw about an amusement park called Dreamland, where as of then, 50 people had gone missing who had gone to Dreamland and never come back. Then we see Queen Beryl talking to Jadeite. Basically, she tells him that she's not going to give him very many more chances to prove himself and that he is expendable. Back to Usagi, Ami, and Rei. They go to Dreamland to investigate what's going on. They meet the amusement park's mascot, Princess Dream, and Rei says that she feels some dark energy coming from her, so that they should be careful, but Usagi, of course, doesn't listen to any of that because it's the mascot for the amusement park, so she's all about it. While they're investigating, looking around the park, Rei and Usagi get on this little train driven by an animatronic panda. While they're doing that, the train stops suddenly, and Usagi, again literally, runs into the dark-haired stranger that we've seen several times. After their argument, that of course is going to happen, Rei points out that he looks a little bit like Tuxedo Kamen, and Usagi vehemently disagrees. When they get to the House of Sweets, which there's going to be some sort of special show going on there, Luna is outside and says that Ami has already gone inside to investigate. That's where the energy collection is happening, and Ami is there when it happens. When the Yoma starts collecting the energy, Rei says that she feels a dark aura, so she and Usagi transform, and Sailor Mars uses Fire Soul to burn a hole into the doorway so that they can get in. Princess Dream, of course, turns out to be the Yoma for this episode, and she sprays, like, I don't know, some sort of dust from her mouth that causes people to hallucinate. In that hallucination, she throws a snake at Usagi, but Mars blocks it and is bitten by the snake and then starts turning to stone. She uses an Ofuda to break that spell, and then they finally get to where Sailor Mercury is. She is okay because since she is a Sailor Senshi, she is able to recover her energy more quickly, I guess. So she transforms also, and the 3 of them combine their attacks to destroy the Yoma. This episode didn't really have a whole lot of story progression. It was just character development with the friction between Usagi and Rei. Episode 12 is called I Want a Boyfriend, the luxury cruise ship is a trap. At the beginning of the episode, Jadeite is approached by one of Queen Beryl's Yoma, who apparently has a thing for Jadeite and has an idea to collect energy involving romantic cruises. Usagi hears about the romantic cruises and of course wants to go on one of them, so she goes to the shopping district and tries to win a lottery to get tickets. She tries 10 times and doesn't win any of the 10 times. Rei tries and gets the winning marble on her first try, so she gets tickets. Usagi is arguing with her that she should take her on the cruise, but Rei does not want to, and actually ends up inviting Ami. So the 2 of them go on the cruise, and Usagi still wants to go, so she uses the disguise pen to get onto the ship. She ends up talking to Jadeite, who actually disguised himself for real this time. Like, he changed his hair color. It wasn't just him like in a hat or him with sunglasses like it usually is. So while she's talking to Jadeite, Luna can sense the dark energy and tells Usagi that as soon as he leaves. So they follow and figure out that they are in fact trying to steal energy. So they gather all of the people on the ship in the reception hall, and that is where the Yoma collects all of their energy, except she only collects the couple's energy, so Rei and Ami are not affected. So the Yoma sets her water monsters on them to attack them. As this happens, Sailormoon appears and distracts the Yoma so that Ami and Rei can transform. Rei then uses Fire Soul to evaporate the water monsters. They go out to help Sailormoon in her fight. Ami uses Shaban spray to, bring up a smoke screen, as usually happens. I guess not really smoke screen, it's fog. But then Rei uses Fire Soul to throw the Yoma off balance, and Sailormoon finishes her off with Moon Tiara action. After this, they confront Jadeite, and as he's getting ready to attack them, he disappears. Queen Beryl basically is not very happy that he used one of her Yoma and then got the Yoma killed. So that's kind of how the episode ends, and so Jadeite's days are probably numbered, so he needs to be careful. But that is it for this edition of the Sailormoon review / recaps that I've been doing. Don't forget to subscribe down below so you won't miss any of my videos. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave a comment down below. Over here, I will have a link to the last set of reviews that I did. Over here, I will have a link to last week's video, which was sort of a shopping haul. I bought some clothes and some other things. So feel free to click on those to see other videos by me. That is about it for this week, so I will see you later, everybody.